Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
This is our reaction and review for Gen V Season 2, Episode 6. Can we all just celebrate, Giancarlo Esposito Nation, that our king has returned to the screen this week?
It was so cool to see him. And I was actually surprised to see him when I know I shouldn't be, because we know that Sage is over here on the show and she is the CEO of Vought now. Of course, Stan Edgar's got some sort of plan in place and he is trying to get back control. Of course.
It all just makes so much sense. I just think the reason why Giancarlo works so well is he's not a regular on The Boys. He's certainly not a regular on Gen V. So it's that we know in the back of our heads that he could turn up at any given point, but there's never a guarantee of it. So whenever we do see him, it's just like, oh, okay, it's delightful. Oh, now he's cooking for Marie. Oh, now he's got some other sort of plan that he's going to try to spell out here.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Like, he's given a little bit about this plan, but really, what is the ultimate plan? Is this really just about getting control back of Vought?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, this is not my favorite episode of the season. I think that there are some interesting ideas that are being explored, but it's also kind of sort of disjointed. We had the first part of it that's okay, let's get out of Elmira. And then we have, all right, we're bringing in Giancarlo at this point. We're going to get some information, not all the information. Then we're going to have these romantic subplots. It just felt like there was a lot going on for a season that is only 8 episodes long.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
But before we get into anything more here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we are here every week discussing Gen V. Like we said, there's not that much of it left, but we're so excited for the rest of this season. And later this month, Welcome to Derry is going to be here on HBO, and we are really, really excited to cover it.
Yeah, we're super excited for Welcome to Derry. We've got Fallout coming later this year here at the channel as well. So hit that subscribe button and stick with us. And over on our Patreon, we're talking more about Gen V, and we're exclusively covering Slow Horses over there. So I'll leave a link for you below if you want to check that out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. We really, really appreciate that. Okay, let's just start with Stan Edgar, since we talked so much about Giancarlo already.
Yeah.
So he has met up with our heroes at this point, and he has created this de facto proposition here where he's like, okay, Marie, you and Homelander, you're not the same, but you're basically the only two subjects of this program that Thomas Godolkin first envisioned.
Absolutely. And that makes them two of the most powerful soups that are out there.
Yeah, and he clearly, or at least this is how it feels to me, is that he wants to use Marie in order to try to find a way to topple Homelander, because really, this whole season's just about who wants to puppet Marie the most? Who wants to use Marie to get to their own end goals? I mean, Cypher's doing it to some degree. He's intentionally trying to power her up. Stan is doing it while making food and trying to paint this really nice picture, but like at the end
and Starlight has been doing it as well.
Yeah, like everyone wants Marie, and I think this end of this episode, it's very indicative of what does Marie actually want. Does she want to stay here and be controlled in some way by Stan Edgar? Does she want to just go and fight her own path? And I certainly understand why she wants the latter at this point.
Yeah, which is why it wasn't surprising at the end of the episode to see her just leave the bunker on her own. It was cool to see Kate try to come along with her, where Marie was like, nope, I don't want you, I'm going to do it on my own. And to see her kind of quietly still follow her out, it was nice.
That was nice, and it also just felt really earned. Like, that's the thing that this season has done a great job at. It's just that after everything in season 1, you could not convince me that Kate would ever be on the same side as these other characters ever again. But it's this situation now where, yeah, Kate did come and quote unquote help some of them at the start of the season, but then when they went to Elmira for her sake, like, that's the real turning point here.
Yeah, I mean, they all risked their lives and their freedom to come and help get her out of it, knowing that it was probably going to be a trap. Of course it was a trap, and they're all trapped.
Yeah, it was just a situation where they knew they were going to be in danger. They tried it anyway. Like, Kate actually benefited from it. And I think Kate at this point is probably seeing something in Marie that she wants for herself, which is the ability to feel like she has real control because like her powers, provided that they're actually working properly, are so unbelievably strong that she's kind of pigeonholed into a similar position as Marie, where everybody just wants to use her.
Yeah, and people have been using her over and over and over again. Like everyone has been using her. They are way more similar than they may like to think.
Now, if you're Stan Edgar, I think you're in a pretty big position of struggle now because
Yeah.
you're sitting back and you're like, okay, I just got these people together. I laid out this really, really smart, or at least smart in my mind plan. Technically, like, you still have Emma, you still have Jordan. Are you going to find a way to get them on board, or are they all just going to take off after Marie now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they probably will try to take after Marie. And honestly, I like it better when they're all working as a group,
Yeah.
anyways, because all their powers really do complement each other a lot.
I think if you're Stan Edgar at this point, you have to just sit back and be like, okay, my plan didn't work. That stinks, but maybe I can still keep tabs on what they're doing. Or
Yeah.
if we want to get really, really crazy, is Stan Edgar playing 4D chess, where he really put out all these honeyed words, made his argument, but he knew deep down that Marie was never going to go for it anyway? Like, is she actually doing what he is wanting right now?
It's possible. I mean, it's possible that he just blew it and that omelet wasn't good enough, but it is possible that she is out there leading him to whatever it is that is sort of the next step, because we have to talk about Thomas Godolkin and that
Yes.
huge reveal about him actually being the person that is in that chamber.
Yeah, like this is something that I know some people have talked a little bit about it,
Mhm.
but I was still really surprised when it actually played out this way, mostly just because in season one, Godolkin was not really that big of a thing, other than just that, oh, it's his university. But now we're really tying in almost not just this show, but also the history of the boys, the history of Homelander, all of this to this character. It is making it that if you want to really enjoy everything with the end of the boys, you kind of have to watch this season now.
Yeah, you absolutely do. They are tying in these shows in a very significant way. But I was really surprised that that's who was in the chamber. I'd seen a little bit of people talking about online. A creator friend of ours, Media Melanie, she actually clocked this episodes ago that she was like, you know what she goes, she's like, I think that this is Thomas Godolkin because of the burns and because of this and that and that. I'm like sitting back being like, that sounds like that could be a thing. So what, watching this episode, I was like, oh my God, it's unfolding.
Yeah, it unfolded almost exactly. And we are in the position now where we have to sit back and be like, okay, what is Cypher really then wanting?
Yeah, because Cypher has told Polarity that, his big plan is with this university is to really like wipe out 75% of the student body and just keep the soups that are like the strongest that are out there. They're really not looking to just have anybody can be a soup. Anybody can just use compound V and whatever happens, happens. All the best to you. You're a soup now. He's not here for that. He's just like, no, we're really trying to weed out who are the weakest so that the soups that are out there are actual like superheroes.
Here's how I'm going to try to look at the map of the boys slash Gen V at this point, is that it's similar in a weird way to Succession, where you've got someone who is currently empowered. I guess in this metaphor, Homelander is Logan Roy, but you have these other people who are trying to think about, okay, what's my course of action beyond this? Do I want to let this person continue to control this company for a long time? But the idea that, okay, we've seen Cypher communicate now with Sage, but the way in which they're doing it is the way that makes me feel like, okay, so they're meeting kind of sort of in secret here. They're not really mentioning that Homelander's on board with everything that they're doing. So it's like, okay, clearly Cypher is looking at a post-Homelander plan, or he's trying to think about finding a way to use the best and brightest at Godolkin to suit his interests. But then you've also got Stan Edgar, who is trying to think in his own way about a post-Homelander plan here.
Yeah, nobody seems to want Homelander to be in charge of anything. And we
Yeah.
know that right now, as the boys ended, he's in charge of everything at this point. So it is interesting how they are tying these shows together in such a way that you are really going to have to watch this season to know
Yeah.
what's going on next season.
And I think it's just all being added by this idea that they all need Marie. Marie is
Yeah.
really the person that without her, it doesn't really matter how many powerful soups you have, because you could send like 10 powerful soups after Homelander, but he's going to find a way to defeat all of them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this season ends with Marie, because at this point it feels like it's like, oh, she's the chosen one. She's the only person that came out of this Odessa program, who is as powerful as Homelander. If she's the only person that can take down Homelander, and yeah, we saw him at the end of season 1 briefly on Gen V, she's going to have to be in The Boys. She has to be. You can't have her be like, she's the chosen one, unless they kill her off.
I really hope that she's on the next season of The Boys, but at the same time, I don't want her to kill Homelander. And it's not because I don't want Homelander
I
dead.
agree.
It's just I want somebody from The Boys to kill Homelander, because
Yes.
we've been watching that journey. So to me, it's really only satisfying if it is someone like Butcher, if it is someone like my favorite Starlight, like somebody who has actually been subjected time and time again to how horrible this guy is.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be Billy. It really does. If it's not Butcher, then I don't know.
Yeah, it just can't be Marie. Now,
No.
I think Marie could be valuable as a part of it. Like, I think she could be a key cog to the plan. And, like, that part of it is something that I'm willing to see explored a little bit more.
Yes.
Okay, here's one of the problems to me with this episode, though, is just that they kind of alluded to the idea that Emma's her own person now. She doesn't really need to deal with the Sam relationship anymore.
Yeah.
Why do we then have to deal with the Sam relationship? I did not really like it that much in season 2. I liked the Sam going home storyline. I did not really sign up to then get the Sam and Emma reunion and them talking about their relationship.
Yeah, you don't love love? I'm not here for the relationship either. I think it's just the biggest problem is the Sam character has not been flushed out until like the last episode. Like we just haven't gotten enough of him. He's just been kind of like this big hulking smash, angry, and now we finally have backstory, but it's almost too little too late at this point.
Yeah, and now we're basically watching him where he's in more control of his mind, which is great, but he's also sort of sitting back and being like, okay, the only thing I can attach my identity to at this point is my relationship with Emma, because she's the only person who tried to help me. And in that way, it's sad, but it's just that I want more for Emma than being attached to somebody who's just attached to her in this very codependent sort of way. But I also want more for Sam. Like, I want him to find himself as a person.
Okay, so we also have to just talk about Marie's power here, where she's able to bring people back from the dead. And so she's brought back her sister, and curiously enough, her sister also has superpowers. She's, precog. She could see a little bit into the future, and it's something that she's been hiding her whole life because she doesn't want anyone to know. She doesn't want to feel different, and she doesn't want to be a soup. And I found that to be a really interesting story, especially because on this show and The Boys, so many people want to be soups and they're willing to do anything and whatever it takes to have somebody who's like, yeah, I have this power and I just really don't want it, and I don't want anyone to know I have it.
Well, it's a very human story in this way, where she's somebody who, she saw what happened with Marie, and that's just the trauma that's been hovering over her. And I think she's probably wanted to run from this idea that she's anything like her sister. She wants to feel like she's her own independent, everyday person. And I think all of this, it's something that she's going to have a hard time stomaching and trying to settle. But then the question then becomes, she does realize that, okay, I can't go back to my normal life anymore. What does my life look like now? I do want to see her stick around and try to help with Marie, just because her power is interesting, mostly because it only works to like a teeny tiny extent.
Yeah, but I mean, those few seconds can change your course of your life. They could save your life, right? So, I mean, I I liked seeing Kate go at the end, but I would have also liked to see her sister be there with her as well. Like, it feels very much like this relationship, it needs to be fleshed out for the rest of the season here. Just like Marie and Jordan, because man, this relationship, it is falling apart very quickly, where, Marie's the most powerful person in the world, and she can harness her powers in ways she never could before. She could bring people back from the dead, and Jordan is just like, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, things are not the same. And while Marie's kind of like, no, they are the same. I'm
Yeah.
still the same person. Jordan is like, no, they're different now because you are special. You are the most powerful person in the world, and that does make things different.
Okay. Here's, I think, why I'm really frustrated with a certain part of this episode. It's because I'm coming into all of this from the perspective of a 38-year-old man, and I try to think that I have at least a tiny amount of emotional maturity here. These people, I have to keep reminding myself, they're really young. Like, they're still
Yes.
college students.
Yep.
So somebody like Jordan is probably handling the jealousy, the uncertainty of all this in a way that I like to think that I wouldn't, because they're sitting back and being like, okay, I thought I was number one at Godolkin, that I had all these different things going for me. And I'm sitting here just screaming at my television that, Jordan, you need to make sure that Marie doesn't leave this place without you. And I'm like, Marie, you can't leave without these other people. Think about how much you guys have gone through.
Absolutely. And I think that if Jordan had more emotional maturity, like you said, it's hard to remember sometimes that they are, in university, and while they're adults, they're young adults, and so they are still figuring things out, and that emotional maturity to be like, okay, I'm in a relationship with the most powerful person in the world, does that really change things? And the answer is, I think no. But because Jordan's not there, it might change it for them.
Yeah, they have to just sort of come to this conclusion themselves. And hopefully they do this sooner rather than later. And I mean, for Marie, I would have liked for Marie, obviously, to have given everyone a choice directly to follow her and not just leave under the cover of darkness. But then, yet again, she's somebody who probably doesn't want to put her friends in danger because she knows she's really powerful, and she knows that they may not be able to handle everything the same way. Like, we had this big, suit fight that happens in this episode, and even in it, it's kind of sort of a dumpster fire. Emma can't use all her powers. They're very lucky that Zoe shows up when she does.
Yep. Oh, Vikings. So yeah, they do get into this big fight, and it was cool to see Zoe too, and to sort of actually see what happened to her after everything that happened to Victoria Newman, rest in peace. And that it was like, okay, is she just going to be left in the home, or is she going to be taken out by Stan Edgar? And that is what happened.
I just feel like coming out of this episode, the natural takeaway is that this was a necessary one in a lot of ways, where they had to sort of introduce Edgar, give that perspective, and then sort of put Marie in a position where she's thinking for herself, so that these final 2 episodes, I am expecting them to be total bangers, because I think this season is significantly better than season 1.
Oh, by a mile. Miles is so much better than season 1. I thought season 1 was pretty good. Like, it was a good first outing, but they have found their footing this season.
Yeah, they really have, and I think it was necessary, because season 4 of The Boys, it had its bumpy road moments, like especially in the early going. So I really want these 2 episodes to contain a few more shockers. I want to see somebody get the Thomas Godolkin and actually get more of where he really is in the present on things.
Yeah, for sure.
But that is where we are with Gen V Season 2, Episode 6. So let us know in the comments, what did you guys think about this episode? Where do you believe everything is going? And hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any more coverage. And you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. We very much appreciate your support there. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you here next time.